KFYR-TV, your news.
And the last game they played went into double overtime against Trinity. Kaylee, it is March Madness, so anything can happen. LT, I really need to get into the Fargo Dome for a Bison game. This atmosphere is crazy for high school wrestling. I could only imagine for the Bison. Demonstrating the true meaning of North Dakota tough. There's no question Carson Wentz is putting Bismarck in the national spotlight. Just over 6 minutes in the first, Wentz scans the field and finds Zach Ertz to put the Eagles on the board. Strike a pose, it's picture perfect. Let's see how those underdog Philadelphia Eagles earn their Super Bowl rings. Eagles going for it on 4th down. Trey Burton takes the handoff and throws it to Foles. Touchdown. Well, we know one quarterback can catch. That's what you call a Philly special. The Larks have sole possession of first place in the Northwoods League standings after a 6-2 win over the Rochester Honkers on Sunday. Today is game 2 of the 3-game series. The Honkers at the plate in the first inning. Michael Malalik knocks this pitch to right field. It's caught by the right fielder, but it's deep enough for the runner on third to tag, and he slides home for the first run of the game. It's the Larks' turn in the first inning. Kyle Stevens at the plate. He likes this inside pitch. He takes it for a ride all the way to the left field wall. The man on base crosses home, and that's an RBI double for Stevens. Brandon Barna is among the league leaders in hits, but here the pitcher Chad Torek flashes the leather here to rob him of a base hit. On the mound for the Larks is Cruz Daddario, and he'll get Griffin Schneider chasing this pitch for a called strike 3. The Larks would drop this game 7-4. Game 3 is tomorrow. North Dakota All-Star Volleyball tonight, kicking off the Optimist Series with Game 1 in Fargo. Game 2 is in Bismarck tomorrow. West leading late first set at Cheyenne High School, but the East mounting a comeback. Taylor Sabanash of Medina, Pinckney Buchanan with the lead. East still on top, but not for long. Jamestown, Megan Gaffney tips it in to open space to keep the West in contention. They take the lead as Gaffney sets up Bismarck's Lessis Mossbrucker for a monster kill down the sideline. Mossbrucker, a force for the West as she peppers the East with the same force she led the Demons with this season. And the West win this one 3-1. It's a prize so grand that a former world champion is coming out of retirement to try and win it. Chad Berger has put together a package for the PBR Bull Riding Challenge that includes $100,000, a $40,000 gold buckle, a saddle worth $12 grand, and a gold-plated rifle.
This means everything to me because I'm a North Dakota boy, born and raised, a man in here, and this is kind of like our, what we can showcase. What we do for a living all around the country right here in Bismarck. And this year, more than any other year, we have 15 world champions coming in here. They're going to be around Bismarck for 3 days, and they're going to match up against each other. We're going to have a separate bull riding within the bull riding with these 15 world champs.
Renato Nunez is the guy coming out of retirement to try and stay on the stock provided by Berger Bucking Bulls.
My dad was, and I think still is, one of the best bullmen that ever lived. He could think just like one, and he passed a lot of them traits on to us. And yeah, it was pretty easy for me to get in the buck and bull business with the knowledge I learned from my dad.
The PBR Bull Riding Challenge is Friday and Saturday at the Bismarck Event Center. A trio of talented softball players from our area made the Class B All-State softball team. They are Wilton Wings' Lauren Koski, Abby Kessel of Hart River, and Beulah's Phoebe Garman. This fall will mark the start of our 12th year of televising Bison football. During a recent stop at Hawktree in Bismarck, LT talked with athletic director Matt Larson. Matt says putting NDSU on statewide TV was the right move at the right time for fans in our region.
Well, I think it's one of the best decisions that we made years ago is to go statewide, because what that does for us is all the folks who either can't get a ticket or can't get to Fargo on a Saturday to come and watch the Bison play, well, now they can watch it on TV. And so for us, when you go around to different corners of the state and you talk to people, you talk to kids in the community, and they grow up and they want to be a Bison because they get to, on Saturday morning, get to sit and watch the Bison compete. That's been huge for us.
We will televise 10 of the 11 regular season games, and it starts on September 1st when the Bison host Cal Poly. Stephanie Horde is the new girls hockey coach at Mandan. Horde was an assistant in Minot, and she played at Bemidji State. Stephanie takes over for Matt Stryden, who was in charge of the program for the past 2 years.
All right, it's still ahead.
Bucks linebacker Farrell Miller is from Orlando, Florida. So how does a football player from the Sunshine State become a North Dakota resident?
2011, I'm sitting in my science class, and my AD come, he said, Drew, you know, like Jamestown College reached out to us, and they offered you a scholarship in North Dakota. I said, where? He said, North Dakota. Like, hey, can you point to the map where that's at? You know, I never heard of that. So Jamestown called, they sent the letter of intent. They said, do you want to come for a visit? I'm like, no, I don't want to come for a visit because I'm afraid if I come up there, it'd be too cold and I would not sign with you guys. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to come in August and then I'm going to just roll from there.
After graduating from Jamestown, Miller was invited to training camp with the Minnesota Vikings, but he didn't make the 53-man roster. That's when Bucks head coach Richard Davis reached out.
He was writing me on Twitter, and he was like, you know, hey, are you still around in town? And we starting up this, you know, this indoor team. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Jamestown right now. I'm like, I'm right next door to you. You know, I drive down, and, you know, we can chat. And I came down, and me and Coach Davis met. I met with his staff, and then I signed the contract.
Miller was one of the most productive Bucks in the first season of the franchise. The Bucks fans even came up with a nickname for when he would make a big play: Miller time.
Many a time last year it was Miller time. Now that guy made so many plays last year. I mean, he was all league for a reason. So yeah, Jarrell's just a great player, a great person, and I'm awfully glad to have him.
When Jarrell isn't making tackles for the Bucks, he's working full-time as a juvenile resident assistant at the Youth Correctional Center in Mandan.
You get in an environment like that, you better have some special skills, and Jarrell's got them. He's just told us some personal stories about some of the relationships that he's built with kids that didn't have a male role model, you know, and he's serving in that role.
With the spotlight on Jarrell Miller, for NBC North Dakota Sports, I'm Ryan Farrell.